I have no affiliation with Tandy as much as I try. They should sponsor us. We mentioned their name enough. Don't go down, and please guys, trust me on this one, we've done it. Don't go to Harbor Freight and buy leather tools. You are not going to be happy. You're going to waste your money. My Captain Dela crew bought a set. We were trying to be frugal with our funds. Bought a set of tools. We got them back to the shop, and the blade wouldn't even touch the leather. It was so jacked up. I ended up pulling those pieces out, using the handles, and making my own tools out of them because they were crap. So don't waste your money.
If you're going to tools, spend the extra money and get the good ones.
That's okay.
They will last better.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's not a big deal. Not in here. This is
Spring for ceramics will make blade.
So if go to Tandy, spend the money on the tools. Trust me. If you're going to be doing any kind of leather work, either you're doing it for cosplay, you're doing it for steampunk, whatever, take the time, spend the money, going together as a group, and spend the money to buy the tool so you've got a nice tool to use. And then there's multiple books that show you how to take care of your tools and how to use your tools so you have them when you need them. For example, is the line in here?
Yeah. It should all be in there.
Your hole punches. When you go down to buy these from Tandy, and you can buy them, you can't buy these at Hobby Lobby, you can buy them, get them from Tandy. Because if you do, the body itself is a lifetime guarantee. If you break this and you were on the body, take it back to Tandy, walk in, and then we'll give you a brand new one off the wall.
You've done that before.
I have done that
exactly
before.
Like that.
The only time I've done it once, because the only one that broke was one I had for 17 years and the body didn't break. That piece of metal right there finally let go. And I walked into Tandy going, and they gave me a new one. These tubes will come out, and these tubes you can replace because these tubes will crack. And trust me, you're sitting there like Captain Dela crew found out the other night on one of our crew members ones. He's sitting there punching leather, and it is kicking his butt trying to get through it. We finally stopped long enough to look at the tube, and the tube had a very small crack in it, and that's what was causing it to be so hard to punch the leather. And kill him. He had a big old nasty bruise across his hand.
It will bruise your hand.
It will bruise your hand. So if you're going to go get into leather work, spend the money and get a good one. No, thank you. You're just going to hand me stuff for the work. That'll make my life much easier. All right. One place that you can, leading into punches. Tandy does sell a punch that you can change the tips on. The other thing that works real well is going down to the auto store and buying auto punches. And you get them all the way up to these huge diameters. These work beautifully. 2 hits and you've gone through the leather and the table and the bounce pad. You're going, oh, she's going to be pissed. So that brings me to a point on tools while we're talking about tools. Never, ever, and I didn't bring my thing on, never, ever, 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 ever hit your tools with a metal hammer. Bad idea. Don't do it. Period. You will ruin your tools. They'll mushroom out because they're really thin, light metal. They're made to be light for tooling. They will mushroom, and if you strike them hard enough, they will explode and send shrapnel into your face. Don't hit your tools with metal. But Captain, what do we hit our tools with? Well, let me tell you. Now you get me in sleep deprivation. Yay! All right, we got a couple choices. Mallets. And the reason we brought all 3 is 1, so you guys can get through this real quick, but 2, also to show a point. Don't let, if you go buy your mallets, and they sell a $3 wood one at Tandy, that's about a waste of your time. Just save us some money and get a good rawhide mallet hammer. Don't let anybody use your hammer unless you just absolutely have to, like you teach in class. You guys aren't going to be hitting these enough that I'm really worried about it. Every person in here strikes differently. So his maul and hammer is going to look different from mine. It's going to look different from Dave's. It's going to have a different wear mark where they hit. You know, however their hands held, however they're, how strong, blah, 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 will change how they hit. So if I loan my hammer to him back there to do a project, when I go to use it, I'm going to feel the difference, and it could mess up a project I'm working on because it's changed the face of my hammer. The other thing, this one's mine. You can See how it's starting to split there? One thing Tandy doesn't tell you, because they want you to come back and buy another hammer, okay, is what you need to do with these during the life of the hammer about once a year is you take these, being that all this is rawhide leather, you put zip ties on them, get them real tight, dunk it in boiling water and let it sit for a couple minutes. Pull it out, pull the zip tie tighter, stick it back in the boiling water. Pull it out, pull the zip tie tighter. You'll be able to close these back up, and I need to get to this one, till it looks just like that again, like it's brand new. Okay? The other thing you can do, since they are only rawhide, is when the ends start getting so beaten, battered, and abused because you've hit everything with this thing like you're not supposed to, you can go in with a saw and just shave that face off and make it nice and flat again and start over with a brand new hammer. So you don't have to keep going and dropping 40, 50 bucks on a hammer. Okay? One other rule. Anybody who has puppies in here, this is rawhide. Okay? Your puppy will find this. If I go, ooh, rawhide, chew toy. Yeah. Unless you want to kill your dog because they just ate your tools, keep your tools up off the ground because they will find them. I have seen my friends get their rawhide chewed up. Now, if you're going to be doing a lot of leather and you want to go a little bit more exotic, Tandy does the Al Stolman. For those of you who don't know who Al Stolman is considered the godfather of leatherwork, him and Ann Stolman. They were saddle makers that passed away a few years ago. But every book that Tandy has out there on leather, everything from saddle making to tooling to, I mean, you name it, Al Stolman wrote. They have the Al Stolman brand of hammers and mauls. These are a little bit more high-end, but they're not hugely expensive. I think we pay 60 bucks?
40 with our
40 with our business discount. So yeah, they run about 50, 60 bucks. And it just depends. Captain Delacruz and I, for the longest time, I tooled everything. When you see all the fancy tooling that we do on our stuff, I would use this when I tooled. Then I made the mistake of picking up his maul and actually sitting there working like this, and then had to go beg my wife for 40 bucks so I could go buy one because it was really cool. Of course, she rolled her eyes, and then I got one. So see, they don't even laugh. I mean, damn.
Do you change the heads up on this? Or
You can. You can. Once you can unscrew them, pop them, and you can order new nylon heads. The other thing you can come across, which I found at a store or a garage sale a long time ago, is I actually found one that had had rings of rawhide in it, and it's from the 1930s. And now it just sits up on my workbench because I can't bring myself to pull the deal off because of the historical value of it.
How long have you had your Al Stolman mallet?
He's had his almost a year.
I'd say a little over a year now. And
I've had mine 2
It
weeks.
doesn't look like there's a lot of wear on it.
yeah, I mean, it's polymer.
Ooh, shiny.
Polymallet is basically the same material as polymallet, and it takes impact really well. It doesn't really show wear.
And part of it's where they're built, they're weighted specifically toward the head where it's not as much effort to get the imprint on there. So.
Really nice once you get the money.
I didn't bring our plethora of tooling tools. They have stamps for everything you can possibly imagine. I mean, that is a whole other class that I don't have time for today, unfortunately. But it's how we tool in all of the detail work you see on all of our gear, or those tooling stamps. Okay, and again, you can go to Tandy. They'll show you what tools, the basic 7 you need to start with, and then you can go online or go to the store, and they will walk you step through step how to bevel edges, how to tool, how to do backgrounds. Now, one thing I did pick up from Al Stolman. Al Stolman started doing leather work in the Pacific during World War II. They had no tooling tools. I've seen the jacket that this man tooled with some screws, a hammer, and I think 1 beveler. Oh my God. I mean, this thing is an Army flight jacket, and it's completely tooled with Sheridan style. I mean, it's amazing. Well, what he did and what you guys can do is all these are screws that I took the Dremel tool to and cut ridges in them to make different tools. That's what you guys can do that too. If you find something that you think will have a really cool pattern design, try putting a piece of wet leather down, and you can pass it around. And you can strike it, see if it gets, I mean, we've even used the head of a screw to make it, for our steampunk stuff, to make it look like an industrial piece. And they're just basic pieces. The other thing you can find, for our hardcore steampunkers in the audience,